We've been planning this lectureship for nearly a year already, and we're excited that it's almost here. And after you leave this morning, I want you to be excited about it as well, because it provides us with so many opportunities. Dan has already talked about the prospectus of this lectureship. Our mentality has always been, and the elders taking the lead on this, in Acts chapter 20 and verse 32, Paul told a group of elders there, before he finished his conversation with them, he said, I commend you to God and to the word of His grace, which is able to build you up. We have a lectureship so that we can be built up upon the Word of God. And so for 16 years, every November, we've had an opportunity to dive into the Word of God and to allow it to build us up. That's what the word edification means, to build us up. And almost every year, the intent and the purpose of the lectureship is to build us up as Christians. It's not that we don't invite our non-Christian friends to be here. We want them here as well. It's always open and welcome for them. But usually the purpose is focused on encouraging us as Christians. But this year it has that dual purpose. Not only is it going to help us, but the intent of this lectureship is not just evangelistic in mind, it's evangelistic. It's not just edifying, it's evangelistic. Does your home need to be built up and encouraged? Does your family need to be built up and encouraged? Do you think there's anybody out in the world who needs their home built up and encouraged? Kevin talked this morning about the new experience that he and Stephanie are having in being parents. You suppose there's any other parents out in the world who could use some encouragement and some guidance, not from Dr. Phil or from Dr. Laura or from some other doctor, but from Dr. Paul and from Dr. Peter and from Dr. Jesus? Isn't that the kind of guidance we need for our homes today? Not what some philosopher is going to say, but from what the King has to say. And hopefully by this time everybody has received one of the schedules for this year. And as you look at these topics, I want you to see how everyday practical these topics are. All 16 of them for adults, the 4 for teens, the 4 for preteens, are designed not to be something that just can sound good and maybe there's something there for me, but are to give you 7 tools that you can tuck away and take home with you when you leave. That's the whole purpose of this lectureship. For just a moment, I want you to look at the program. I want you to look at the overall scope, because there are some changes this year. If you've been here before, we have always started on Friday night. This year we are starting on Thursday night. We've backed it up. We've added one keynote lesson on Thursday night, and then we will continue as usual on Friday. But instead of having our midweek service on Wednesday night, we're moving our midweek service to Thursday night that week. So there is no service on Wednesday the 2nd. We're going to have our midweek service on Thursday night, starting our lectureship with Glenn Colley, talking about the 7 tools that every home needs to survive. As you look at that schedule, you'll see that on Saturday we've also made another change. We've backed up the schedule. We start an hour earlier on Saturday afternoon. Instead of starting at 3, we start at 2 o'clock. Purpose of that is so that after we eat that corn roast, we can go home and take a nap. It's embarrassing when our speakers are speaking to a lot of full, tired people after our corn roast. So we're going to start at 2 o'clock. Get all of our lectureship in. We've moved the corn roast to 5:30 so you can stuff yourself silly and then go home and enjoy the evening with a full belly. And so there's 2 changes to the schedule. We're starting on Thursday and we're ending with the corn roast on Saturday. And then we have our regular Sunday morning sessions to round out the program itself. And I hope as you look at this lineup of speakers, some of them may not be familiar to you, but I want you to know how much experience is being brought to the table with these speakers. over 200 years of preaching experience, but not just general preaching experience. Many of these men conduct seminars, conduct weekends that are specifically designed for the family. And so these are people who have studied this, who have researched this, who understand what the family needs in our society. Many of these names, while perhaps not close to you and known to you, folks like Bill Weaver, he's been here before. Glenn Colley, he's been here before. Eric Owens, who preaches up in Atlanta, he's been here before. And many of these, hopefully, as you look at the topics and then look at the speakers, you will begin to see how rich this time is going to be, not just for us as Christians, but do you know anybody, as you look down those topics on that schedule, do you know anybody who could use those? Do you have any friends who could use those? Should we talk about our singing during the lectureship? I don't know why it is, but the best singing we have all year is during our lectureship. And I know that may be biased in a lot of ways, but tough it is. It's true. We have some outstanding singing, and no doubt Gary Friedley is a great part of that. And so you look at these sessions, you look at the speakers, you look at the singing, you look at your schedule and how it's color-coded. That's not just to make it more appealing and give you a warm fuzzy. But as you look at the color coding, there's a purpose to all of it. And obviously we have our keynote sessions that are all designated by the same color. But as you look through there are tracks or series of lessons. And it's not that you have to follow one all the way through, but if you know somebody who needs some parenting skills sharpened, here's 4 lessons that they can go to on parenting all throughout the weekend. 4 lessons on marriage all throughout the weekend. Well, you say, well, I want to invite some folks, but they may be too old. They may not need the parenting lessons anymore. They may be single. They may be a single mom. They don't need the marriage stuff. There's something here for everyone. The series on the home that will be here in the auditorium during those breakout sessions has something for everyone. You need to be here for this. You need to be able to think about others that you can bring and to have here as a part of this weekend. We'll talk about the procedure of the lectureship for just a minute. A little bit different than what we've done in previous years. For 10 years, we stopped last year, but for a period of 10 years, from 2000 to 2009, we asked the speakers to submit manuscripts for their lessons, and we published a lectureship book, and that was beneficial in a lot of ways. Last year, we asked the speakers to submit outlines, in which we printed their outlines in a book, and that was beneficial in many ways. This year, what we're going to do is for every person who comes to the lectureship, when they come in and register at the front tables, they're going to receive a binder. And inside this binder, once they come in, it's going to have a lot of information already in the binder. It's going to have some instructions about the purpose of the binder itself, but it's going to have the full schedule of the lectureship in there. It's going to have the introduction to the speakers in there. It's going to have the CD and DVD order form in there. Everything they need for the lectureship is going to be inside their binder. They'll be able to map out the lessons that they want to go to. There'll be a map of the facility so that somebody who hasn't been here will know where the family room is, where adult 1 is, where grade 3 is for their children. But also inside of the binder, there are going to be some note-taking cards. And those are all color-coded that will match the colors of the lectureship schedule. And so there will be four cards in there for taking notes on the keynote sessions. And so those will match in color, and it has 7 blanks. All of the lessons are going to have 7 points. You can count on that. We've asked the speakers, and you see the topics. They're all 7 points, so there's going to be a note-taking card for every keynote session. It'll be in your binder. All you got to do is sit there and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and take notes. It's ready-made. The auditorium sessions, they'll already be in. It doesn't mean you have to go to the auditorium sessions, but the orange cards for the auditorium session will already be in the binder. So if somebody chooses to stay in the auditorium, it's ready-made. This one on seven Steps to Recovering from Crises in the Home with Dan Winkler, they can start taking notes with that. If someone decides to go to the family room, to the series on marriage, and once they get to the family room, when they walk in, they'll have a yellow card that's for that session where they can take the 7 points down. If they go to adult 1 and 2, for the parenting sessions, for each session there'll be that green color-coded card where they can take notes on that. Same thing for the teen sessions. I know this will boggle their minds. Same thing for the teen sessions. If they want to take notes or a blank side for doodling, they'll have it for each one of the sessions, as well as for the preteen sessions. There'll be their purple card as well. All of these designed to be so that when they come together, their binder is full of the cards. When they go to these other sessions, they'll have all of the cards that they need so that when they walk out, when they leave the lectureship on Sunday, they've got a toolbox full of heaven's tools for building and improving our homes. That's the whole purpose of this lectureship. Not to listen to some guys who have some ideas and maybe I'll get something out of this. But to come together in a mindset that says, I want my home to be better. I'm going to fill this up with information to make it better, and I'm going to take home and use these tools to improve my home. So there's all the other colors as well. I was going to tell you about the bonus, but I'm not. Just know that on Sunday, there's going to be a stay to the end bonus. You'll just have to wait until Sunday to figure out what that is. Thought about sharing it with you, but I thought that's not much of a bonus if you already know what it is. So you just have to be, if you're not here, you miss out. And I'm telling you, you'll miss out, and I'll just give you a hint, it's color-coded too, all right? So that's all I'm telling you, but you've got to be here for the Stay to the End bonus, and you need your friends to be here. If they miss out on the bonus, their toolbox will not be quite as full as it could be. We've talked about the prospectus and the program and the procedure. What about the promotion of this lectureship? There have already been several things that we have done up to today. On the house-to-house, heart-to-heart issue, the last one that we just sent out, the last one that you just labeled, on the back of the one that went out to 8,000 homes around our building, they've already seen information about our lectureship. It's already pointed them to our website. I don't know if you've been to our website to see that the full schedule for our lectureship is on our website. We've already been sending out invitations to the local congregations. They already know about it. We've got congregations already planning to be here. But as we've said, the purpose of this lectureship is not just edification for us. The purpose of this lectureship is evangelism. To reach out to those who are outside of Christ. To present them an opportunity, not just that they would want, but an opportunity that our homes and our nation need today. Are there any homes that don't need improvement? That's what this is. It's a home improvement workshop. So when you came in to the lobby this morning, out in the lobby was a table, and hopefully you've picked up, members, there should have been on the table a little package that had your name on it. If you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to check it out. Inside that particular package, there are 2 folders. We have done everything that we can in promoting this as a congregation, as an office, as a church. We've promoted as widely as we can to this point. Everything to this point for the rest of this month is up to you. The schedule that was passed out to you just a few minutes ago, that schedule brochure, there's more of them out in the lobby. There's more of them in my office. We need to start passing those out to anybody and everybody we think would come. But the 2 folders that you got when you came in are not for just anybody or everybody. I want you right now to think of 2 people, 2 homes, to families, to marriages, to parents. I want you to think of 2 people you know right now that you want to be here. We're not asking you to invite everybody you know, although you can do that with those brochures. 2 specialized invitations. That's what these folders are for. When you take these folders out in the lobby when you leave this morning, there are going to be all sorts of goodies that you can put in to those folders to offer as part of the invitation to come to our lectureship. There are 2 tracts out there on marriage. If you're trying to invite a married couple to come, there are 2 tables, one to the right, one to the left. They all have the same stuff, so you can go to either side. There's 2 tracts out there on marriage. You want to invite somebody who needs work on their marriage, or maybe they don't have marriage problems, but who doesn't need help? 2 tracts on marriage. Just grab one of each. Don't grab more than that. We don't have extras of these. There's just enough to fit in each binder. Grab a couple of those and slide them into your binder to give to the 2 people you want to invite. Are there some parents that you're wanting to invite? Out in the lobby are 2 tracts on parenting that you can take. You can pick one. You can pick both. You say, I want those 2. I'll slide those into your folder. Pick those up and say, I want them to be able to read those too. We are already equipping them. We're already giving them tools that they can use even before they come to the lectureship. If you need one that's just on the home in general, something that's going to fit everybody, any home, single parent, 2 parents, no kids, 14 kids, whatever, here's a tract that applies to every home that you can meet. Pick one of these up, slide it inside there. There are schedules out there. There's one for each of these binders plus extras that you can take and pass out. When you get done, you can fill up this little folder to take and invite people to come to this lectureship. And then on the end of the table is a little card. You can take and write don't write my message, write your personal message. Say, I really want you to come. You take that card, you slide it into your folder, and this week or next week you go to them and say, there is something coming up at our church, and I really, really, really think that you're going to like it. Give them your little folder that's full of all of your little goodies. Present it to them and ask them to come. Go back to them a few days later, say, did you have a chance to look at that? You want to come with me on Thursday night? You want to come with me on Friday night? Did you see those sessions on Saturday? And by the way, you don't want to miss our corn roast. This is going to be, I believe, our best lectureship ever. Because it reaches out, and folks, it touches each of us. There's not a one of us in here who doesn't need this. And there's not a family we know that doesn't need this. Let's use this as an opportunity to build and improve our homes, to reach out to our friends, do all that we can to build and improve their homes. From this day until November 3rd, it's up to you. Give out the brochures. Give out your 2 specialized invitations. There are a few extra of these folders. If you know 3 people that you want to give them to, there's a few extra folders. If you know 4, that's the max. But there's only about 80 extra folders out there. If you want an extra one, pick up the extra folder. Give those out. And for the next month, give yourself to prayer. We can have a great program. We can have great procedures. We can have a great speaker. We can spend a lot of money in promotion. But if we don't ask God to bless this lectureship, it's all for naught. May God help us to take this opportunity to make a difference for the cause of Christ.